Big. Tonight we're going to do an analysis of the charming film Prisoners, starring Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. And the first thing we want to do is identify the four through lines. I think the overall story is actually really well summarized on IMDb. A desperate father takes the law into his own hands after police fail to find two kidnapped girls. That pretty much sort of what the setup is.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. I mean, it, okay, so I'm looking at the wrong computer. All right. So let's start off with who is the main character in this?
I would say it's Keller, but I'll let other people chime in too. I could see an argument for Loki being like a kind of a dual protagonist in a sense, or something, but I wasn't 100% sure on that either. But my argument for Keller is that we see, I mean, for one, we see the whole torture plot line through his eyes, um, and it feels like he has the more personal connection to some of the stuff. We see more of his home life. I mean, we see a little bit like, but pretty much everything I think we see with Loki is related to the objective story, it feels like. So that would be my argument.
Okay. Anybody else?
Sounds right to me.
Yeah, seems right.
I mean, my argument would be for Loki, Detective
Okay.
Loki, primarily because that's one of the reasons why I wanted to watch it again.
Hmm.
Uh, if you think of Keller as the protagonist, as the desperate father trying to figure out who killed his daughter or who's taken his daughter. I mean, he clearly fills that role.
Hmm.
Apart from him with the blessing early on, the very first shot, the rest of it's almost all has to do with the overall story. Whereas the first time we meet Loki, he's at a diner, he's sort of flirting with the waitress. We find out, what his birth sign is, all or not sign is uh, uh,
Zodiac.
Chinese, yeah, the Chinese year or whatever it is. And we tend to follow him and see things from his perspective a lot, as opposed to when we're with Keller, we're watching, we're looking at the antagonist or the antagonist of the moment. Whereas Detective Loki definitely seems to be the one who's, you know, got the more personal side of things, and taking it. I mean, he's not taking it personally. I don't want to say that because the father is certainly more emotional about it, but he is, you know, it does seem to be having a very personal toll on something that is not personal to him. You know, it's not his kid. It's his case, but not his kid.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm not certain which one it is because they're really well balanced. But to me, all the first part is the father stuff, and then when we see Detective Loki, and we don't really, I don't think we ever know what his first name is, though. Um, we're just with him, you know, as a guy, until he gets the call.
Hmm.
And so this just seems to me being um at least equally possible that Loki is supposed to be the
Main
main
character.
character. But I think the two of them are the subjective characters. I think
Hmm.
they are the primary argument being made.
Mhm.
Um, any other thoughts?
Well, I mean, only in so much to say that I really agree that watching it, I was like, who is it? I didn't find it very clear.
Hmm.
Um, I also actually wasn't totally clear. You seem very clear that Keller is the protagonist, but I see a lot of Loki pursuing stuff, and if he's not the pursuit character, I'm curious what element you think he has. Um,
Well, okay, so I don't think there is an archetypal protagonist. I think Keller's a pursue character and Loki is a consider character.
okay,
He's the one who's, think about this, look at this, let's consider this. He's definitely the more internal of the two of them, and Keller is absolutely the more external of the two of them.
and even in that, when they're both doing the pursuing, Keller is much more aggressive about it.
Hmm.
You
Right,
know,
and Loki is more about persuasion and trying to find insights or trying to understand people,
right.
trying to get in their head, not trying to get them to do something.
So, okay, but now going back to why I think that Keller is the main character is I really felt like well, first of all, we meet him first. I know that that's not always a giveaway, but
Mhm.
and we get some very clear indications that his guiding principle is you can't count on anyone else. You've got to be prepared for everything. And the story really seems to be testing that aspect of him.
Oh,
Um,
yes, one of them is clearly steadfast and one of them is clearly changed.
yeah.
So
Um,
I think we can identify the steadfast and the change character. And
mhm,
there is a sort of a you and I moment in there where they don't say that we're alike, but we're going after the same thing, but we're approaching it from different directions. You know,
right.
it was sort of that argument. Um,
And I had trouble sensing so I
and
knew what Keller's sort of guiding thing was. I don't really know what Loki's was. So that's why I had trouble looking at him as a main character because I was like, well, he was an
Yeah,
orphan. He grew up in this home. He's a
I
loner,
agree.
but I don't know kind of
he
what.
has a perfect record.
Yeah, I mean,
He's always solved every case.
but is that and I know, so I know what I feel like what domain I want to put him in, but I don't know that I attached to those things as I would to a main character.
Hmm.
So,
That said, I'm not convinced it's one or the other. I'm not sure that it's really clearly cut. Um, we start with Keller, we end with Loki.
right.
Hmm.
Yep.
And so it doesn't. I think there may have been trying to have it both ways. You
Hmm.
know, sort of trying to make either one of them be, whichever one you identify with is fine. And, that's okay. It's just it'll just, we'll have to see if we can nail it down based on the story form.
Yeah. I have one more reason too that I think they were trying to do it both, sort of have their cake and eat it too with this particular thing, but I'll talk about it later when it's more relevant.
Well,
Okay.
one of Loki's first lines in the restaurant is like you're very intelligent and have the ability to influence people. So, just
Yeah.
throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I think they were definitely they were pulling the domains right up front. I mean, really, really clearly. Um, and and what did they said the relationship? Oh, was um the the sheriff and the cowboy. That was the
Mm,
analogy.
I like that.
Who said that?
Um, Someone was making an analysis. What was it? It was in the movie.
It was?
I
Hmm.
thought so.
I don't remember that, but
Oh, Oh, no, no, no. Sorry, it wasn't. There was a, well, it was, but not in the part you saw. I watched this on Max and HBO Max, and they had a little making of at the end,
Oh.
and the director Villeneuve said, this could easily be a Western where you've got the sheriff, and then you've got the cowboy, the cowboy who's just wants to run, you know, ramshot over everything, and the sheriff wants to try to keep things controlled. But not those words, but
Hmm.
that. So yeah, no, I'm sorry, that's where I heard it. And so, but I mean, you can easily see that sort of sheriff, the policeman, but I think that the sheriff cowboy is a really easy analogy to understand, um, because that there is a sort of a Wild West feel to the way Keller is behaving. You know, I'm not going to follow any laws. You do whatever you need to get things done. Um, okay, so we'll just sort of leave them uh, both and see what we. So when thinking about change and steadfast, okay, not identifying who the main character is, but when we think of change and steadfast, who is the steadfast character and who is the change character, and why?
I was a little torn, and I still am, I guess. I'm kind of leaning towards Loki because of the line, but I don't know if I see enough of it in the film. But he has the line like "prepare for the best," or whatever the exact quote is. He says that, and that was like a line taken from Keller earlier. So it's like
But
maybe that's a
I'm not sure
symbol.
what are you saying? Steadfast or change? I can't.
Oh, I was thinking change for Loki, maybe, but I'm not 100% on that.
Okay.
I
And
wouldn't know what exactly the change would be from and to, so that's why.
well, I would. Anybody else want to jump in? Come on.
Yeah. I'm just letting Levi go first since he picked the movie.
Hmm.
Well,
Um, well, I think we watch um, Keller stick to his guns to an insane, tragic degree, and like it drives him into a pit. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? Like
right,
he's in the hospital where the cops are. He knows where to go, and he doesn't say, "I know where to go. Come with
right.
me." He's like, "I've my daughter is waiting for me,"
Hmm.
and boop, I run off. Like that's like super steadfast to me.
Yep.
I have a little trouble. I do have a little trouble figuring out the specifics of Loki's change, except that um, he has that big adventurous drive at the end, which he doesn't seem to consider. He just does, but
Mm.
it's also like it's a kid who's been poisoned. Like that seems like an obvious thing and not a character change.
Well,
So,
think about
Yeah,
it.
but
Think about a couple scenes earlier. Okay, in the beginning, in the middle of all the chaos, he's very calm and controlled, and he's got this hysterical parent, and he still is like very restrained. Then two-thirds, three-quarters the way through the movie, he's going to his desk and smashing his computer and
Yeah.
everything on his desk.
right.
It's not the same calm and collected guy. Then he goes to this house, not the one he thinks he should be going to, but he's told to go to, tell the uh, aunt or the mother. I think isn't she that she's Bob is her son, right? The one who shoots himself.
No,
No.
it's a kid he kidnapped. It's a
Yeah.
kid that she kidnapped.
none of
Yeah.
them are. They couldn't have kids, so that's why they.
But okay, but is he? No, no. Technically, they're not. But what are they? Like he's not her. He's
I
not the
don't
aunt either. But why were they going to tell her?
know.
Oh, because no, they
They were
found
going to.
Alex. You have the wrong name. They
She's the
found
aunt
Alex
of
Alex.
was no,
Paul
no,
Dano.
no. After the guy kills himself, and I mean, Alex is, oh, she's going to go tell them about Alex because they
Yeah,
found
yeah.
Alex.
They found
That's
him.
it. That's right. Okay. Okay. So Alex is the one that he's gonna go tell her about Alex. But he goes there, he now is like, going into the house, looking around, it's like this is not really very much by the book at that point.
Right.
And there's no reason to think that there's any kind of subterfuge going on at that house at this point because he's just supposed to tell her that, hey, we found your nephew.
Hmm.
But he went from being much more in the early part from hardcore by the book to less and less and less so until the end when he, even, draws fire on her, and kills this woman.
Here's where I'm going to push back a little bit against that. Once they arrest Alex, right? He does say keep Alex in prison for an extra day, even though that's against
Right.
the rules.
Hmm.
Well, because he was worried about the father. That's what he was worried about. Because
But
the
he's still willing to
father,
break. Yeah, but he's
he
still
was
willing to
worried
break
that
the
the
rules.
father was going to do something, the father was a loose cannon. And I think he was more concerned that something untoward might happen because the father just couldn't, because Keller couldn't like hold back. Then I don't think he really thought that there was. I mean, he really didn't think it was Alex. He spent all that time with him in 10 hours. He
Hmm.
said this guy has the IQ of a 10-year-old. He did not plan a
No,
kidnapping. And I don't think that changed. I don't think he ever thought that Alex was the one who did it. And of course, Alex didn't do it.
but
Alex
then my other
probably just,
pushback, my
oh,
other
go ahead.
pushback against it is that he follows that weirdo from the vigil. He's just very instinctive. So it's
Yes,
like,
yes,
so
right.
it's like he's still super instinctive. You're
Yes.
saying that still remains true, yet he also
But
opens the
he's
door without a real
right
clue.
at that point. Remember, he's effectively, it's like you're not on the case.
Right.
In fact, he's told explicitly he is not on the case. And yet he gets there and follows his instincts, but he's like, okay, I, I'm I'm gonna I'm gonna pursue this even though I'm not supposed to. Something's off. I'm gonna pursue it. It's not clean. I don't want to even begin to say that this is a really clean change because I think it's trying to be pretty naturalistic.
Hmm. Right.
Um, so but I'd say on the whole, at the end of the movie, he's the one who's probably not going back to being the same guy that he was. Whereas the dad, assuming he survives because he's sitting there blowing that whistle, um, the rape whistle, um, he'll just be like, "See, I told you so." I was right all along.
Right.
Hmm.
Even though it's like, yeah, and now you tortured this man for over a week, and so I would say that that's probably the fall. It's more Keller's steadfast and not a huge change, but a shifted change for Loki. Um, so since we haven't really identified who the main character is, it's kind of hard to answer those questions.
Hmm.
Except we can talk about approach. So who's the doer and who's a beer?
I feel like Keller's got to be a doer. At least that's my instinct. I mean, I don't know. I could see him being very fixed attitude and some of that kind of stuff with like, his approaches, but it feels like he's so doer.
No, it's like okay, I'm gonna kidnap you.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I'm gonna scald you with hot water or freezing water. I'm gonna, yeah, no, he's not. I mean, yes, it's not that he's exclusively a doer, but his preference is to do things. I'm gonna beat you
Hmm.
up. Tell me, just tell me.
Yeah.
Um, and then you've got Loki, who clearly would prefer to talk people into, trying to persuade and cajole them into giving him the right information, the information. Um, just, you know,
yeah.
that falls neatly along the lines. Again, we don't know who's who. So when we start to establish that, I think it might help. All right, how about the story driver? That's something we can answer. Action or decision? Do actions drive decisions or decisions drive actions? And how do we know?
I'm leaning towards action,
Actions.
Okay. And
because of the taking of the girls probably being the first action. Even going back to the backstory, the death of the Holly in there. I forget. I don't know if we know the the husband's name or whatever, but the death of
well,
their child, like way back. But I don't know if that really counts. I think that
right, because
probably,
that's not really where this story is bounded by the
yeah,
abduction.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would say is like again, pretty much all of the main beats. I mean, like you got the suicide. I don't know how much of that is really a act turn or anything, but like then you got the finding of the other girl. You've got the rescue at the end. All feel like actions to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that sounds right. All right. Oh, I keep on trying to do it in the wrong computer. All right. Story limit. Time lock or option lock? Do we run out of time or run out of options? And how do we know?
I don't think we have a clear time lock other than we do say like it. I mean, there is a lot of like focus on time, but I think that's probably in the context of the story because it's like how much
Well,
how long can they
so when
last?
you have
But
an option
yeah,
lock, there seems to be a focus on time. When you have a time lock, there seem to be running out of options.
yeah,
So as opposed to being a measure, the whole thing limited, brought to a
hmm,
climax by time or options. That's what this is, the limit.
yeah.
So if it's option lock, then what are the options
I
that
mean,
are
suspects,
okay?
all that kind of stuff. I feel like.
Right? You've got um the main clues
Hmm.
and the suspects associated with the clues. And once you've pretty much exhausted that, then time's up, or the option, you've got climaxes occurs. And we only have one more abductee and one more abductor related person, which is the mom,
Mhm.
uh, aunt, whatever. So yeah, I think it is also an option lock. Outcome, success or failure.
I would
How do we
say
know?
success
Because
because the girls are back.
alive.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a
Okay.
key point.
Right. And the judgment, good or bad?
I feel like it's bad, but it's still a little unclear. Again, if I'm going with Keller as the main character, it feels more bad, I guess. Even if it's Loki, I still feel like there's a lot of angst, I feel like. I mean, it doesn't exactly feel resolved. We end literally without knowing the outcome of the thing. That's kind of why I'm leaning towards bad, but
I
I don't
mean,
know what your guys' thoughts are.
even look at the girl, the rescued girl.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
all of
still.
them, they're all like in this just shell-shocked,
Hmm.
place. They are not in oh, yay, we got her
Yeah.
back. Everything's now going to be fine. No,
Yeah.
it definitely has that really unsettled feeling at the end.
Yeah, like the friendships are ruined. The,
The marriage is probably
the
ruined.
she's a broken mother, right?
And, they might get him out of the pit, but
Yeah.
it ain't over for him.
Right. Then he's
Mhm.
going to jail. Yeah.
Yeah. He tortured some kid for his relationship with his son is shot. It's not
Mhm.
here. None of it's
Yeah.
good.
Right. Okay, so now let's pop to the theme browser and let's identify the overall story because that'll help us figure out um, where, well, or also where Keller and Loki are. I mean, we already know Keller is a doer, so he's going to be in either a situation or activity, a universe or physics character, and Loki's like most likely going to be an internal character, so either psychology or mind or manipulation or fixed attitude. So, um, anybody have a thought for any arrangement of these?
I think overall is a universe problem. Um, these two girls are missing, kidnapped when they should not be. They should be home with their families. I think without that, there's no story.
Okay, that would make that would well. So if we selected that, is everybody
I also think Keller is a
an
physics.
activity character? Yeah,
Yeah.
That
physics
was what I
character.
was leaning towards.
Everything he does, all his vigilanteism is causing him problems with his wife. He's just not. He's just never around anymore, right? So,
And you've got
emotionally, it's turning him into a monster.
and with Loki, you've got the psychology character. I
Mystery
mean,
manipulation. Yeah, sure.
yes.
Yeah,
Um, not very effective in this particular story.
and then the cowboy and the sheriff is a great clash of attitude.
Right. Follow the law, lawbreaker.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that was easy. Okay. So now we want to look at the domains. I mean, I said the concerns. Um, Anybody want to take a stab at which which of them we're looking at? So that's the next level down, the concern type level.
Levi, you want to go?
I don't really have strong feelings. I mean, because of the mystery and because of the genre and the feel, I could see it kind of being the past, understanding memories, developing a plan kind of thing. But I don't feel super strong about any of them, and I don't have a great reasoning. Um, so I don't know. I'm always worse the further down we go. So
For me, it feels very present what they're dealing with, everybody.
yeah,
But I wouldn't be surprised if somehow it's future. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say the same bottom right corner because what Keller is doing is trying to gather information.
yeah,
Um, and there's a lot of talk in the OS about, hey, it's been 3 days, 5 days. It's very much like, where are we right now?
Hmm.
And then a lot of what and this might be a little more in the OS than I want it to be, but Loki is always trying to figure out what these clues mean because he's the only one who's really trying to do that, which is why I'm sort of
yeah.
pulling that into the MC or into him, I mean. Um, but it's just like one mystery after another that he can't see the big picture. He's like trying to, what does this mean? What is the big picture? How do these things connect? It just feels very conceiving.
And
I could see
then
that.
the relationship, you've got contemplation or conscious. It's basically you're just, the keep it in mind. Don't, always bring it, front, right in your face, front of mind. It's
And
got
it's also that they are both thinking, they're both seeing the same stuff and concluding different things, right?
but
I
they're also trying to, there's this conflict over, I mean, there are several arguments between the two of them over, Loki's saying, okay, we've got it from here, and Keller saying, no, you need to listen to me, right? He's trying to get his ideas across and communicate, trying to keep it right present, but in the conversation, we need to hash this out.
Yeah.
And Loki, because his position, he's the sheriff, it's like, well, this is my job, it's not your job, let's just let's keep our eye on where the lines are.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Does
Yeah.
that feel okay for everybody? Jim, are you
Oh
you
yeah,
okay with
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
you've been
In
really
which
quiet.
case, I'm going to toss out benchmark of progress now, just as a idea. I know we're not there yet, but it
Okay.
seems like they're constantly like, "Where are we with the investigation? What's next? What's that?" Have
Well,
we
let's
have we made any improvements?
well, let's just look and see what that does. Okay, so then that puts Keller as the main character if the benchmark is progress.
Hmm.
And as a linear thinker, which of course he's
Yeah.
definitely seems to be a linear thinker.
Yeah.
I'm going to unselect it just so we can continue on and see if there's anything else that might influence one way or the other. So we're not limited by that, but I think that's a good thing to know that that's where that's headed. Um, all right. So if we go down into the overall story, we've got, does this work? No, it doesn't. Okay. However, no, that doesn't do it either. All right. So we have work, attempt, attract, and repel. Under work, we have certainty, potentiality, deduction, induction, which of course, that's if you're talking about a detective kind of thing, that's definitely part of it. Attraction, you've got proaction, reaction, acceptance, non-acceptance. Under attempt, inaction, protection, evaluation, reevaluation. And then under repulsion, probability, possibility, reduction, and production. Do any one of these or two of these, which of the pairs, work, attempt, or attack, attract, repel, seem to be the stronger if there is a pair that's stronger?
Yeah, the only one that I don't feel as much has in there is the repulsion. All the other three I could see
Okay.
in there, but yeah. I mean, I see, again, I get a little lost on some of the definitions, but like the deduction versus like induction isn't, that kind of feels like the two of them a little bit with their, one's trying to, but I don't know if that's enough. Um,
Well, if we look over in Keller's area, which we're
mhm.
not sure if it's the main character or the influence character, um, we can see what we see over there. We've got prerequisites, strategy, preconditions, or analysis. Do either pair of those work better or less better?
Well, he seems really to be driven by his terrible strategy and his terrible analysis of things. So that really leaps out to me.
Okay. All right.
Um,
And let's look over meanwhile at Loki. And we have permission, need, deficiency, and expediency. Do any of those um, stand out?
I mean, the only one I guess I only really see permission with like some of the stuff with the conflict with him and his like boss. I don't really see that so much everywhere else. He feels like he's already kind of like Mike said earlier, he is already bending the rules a little bit towards the beginning, but you see that more as
Was
things
that
go
an
on.
expediency thing, or is that
Yeah, I'm not
Well,
sure. I'm just saying I don't see permission as much, but
Right.
the other three I could see some of.
he
Okay.
deficiency, if it really is like he can't get his head around the right clues because they aren't
Hmm.
there, deficiency really stands out to me. Um, and permission would be like operating within the rules, right? Which is the thing he
Yeah,
abandons at the end.
especially with his influence on Keller, it's like he's sort of a barrier to.
Yeah, I could see that.
And
Hmm.
let's just look at the relationship, just see what where we've got. Okay. Investigation,
Oh,
doubt, appraisal, reappraisal. Okay, that's an actual good quad for this. Um,
Doubt, God, these are all great.
Yeah.
yeah, that's why it's like, oh, okay, okay, that fits their butting heads. Um,
If we go back to the OS, the thing that really jumped out to me is the work and attempt.
Yeah,
Just as
I
like,
can see those two being very strong too.
I mean, I know this, we're not really splitting it this way, but it's like Loki is all about the work, right?
mhm.
And uh, Heller is all about attempt, his continued attempt to get to milk a stone for
Hmm.
information, you know? Um, and he, in action is, I can see, anyway, I'm just gonna stop there. That's sort of what
Oh, I mean, riffing is good because that
Hmm.
you'll usually
yeah, I mean, but here, okay, so I'll just riff here. So like in attempt, I go like, well, the wife was really all about inaction, and
Yeah.
there was a feeling of you've got to let the process work itself out, right? When they're trying to get Keller to back off. So that's like inaction, like stop interfering with stuff. Protection is all about trying to protect your kids. Evaluation, reevaluation, I don't really have a great one, except that it's like, what are these clues mean? And Keller gets reevaluated. He's looking more and more like a suspect the less he listens. So he keeps getting reevaluated.
Hmm.
Up in work, though, it's like, induction feels like what were you doing in the parking lot? You know? Because if you were just somebody getting a bottle of liquor, you wouldn't be walking the other direction. And then it's like, no, here, let me give you the deductive reasoning. I was trying to not break my 9 year sobriety. Um, so that feels like, um, and then induction too. It's like, where did this might be deduction, but it's like, where did this sock come from? Oh, right. Someone was in the house. I'm going to go look under the window. I found the other sock. Okay, now I know he stole the sock. He didn't abduct the kids, that kind of thing. Um, in repulsion, I mean, the only thing I can think of in repulsion, which works very well with repulsion, is like, if I beat this kid enough, he will possibly tell me the answer, right?
Mhm.
Um, and reduction is also there because it's like uh, uh, Keller has just reduced everything down to this one kid,
Yeah,
and
I can see
and
that.
production is very much like, nope, there's clues and leads everywhere. I'm going to go talk to these sex offenders. I'm going to do this other stuff. Um, Attraction. I don't see acceptance and non-acceptance very well, except that Keller is so stubborn. Um, Proaction and reaction sort of feel again like Keller is way too proactive, but that might just be his protagonist-ish quality. Um, Not seeing a lot of reaction that I can pull out right now.
In the overall story with the the thematics of the reason they're killing children is there's a war against God. Isn't that
Hmm.
it? That
mhm.
they're trying to
Mhm.
basically make good people do become
Become
terrible,
bad. Yeah.
which is essentially
Induction.
Keller is sort of proves the point. Um, that they felt that was the case, that people are really inherently evil as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
um
So that would be repulsion, maybe?
no,
No.
well, that would be under work, I think, because you're talking about, well, I mean, but I mean, potentiality, what is the problem? The problem is the abduction, yes, but it's like what could possibly happen to them? It seems
Mm-hmm.
like everybody's so freaked out over what it could mean, what could be happening to the kids, who's anybody could be responsible for it. And the only thing that will bring about closure is certainty of, yes, they're alive, or yes, they're dead, or yes, this person did it, or yes, that person did it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not certain. Work doesn't really jump out at me, but I mean, it's
But
not very
certainty feels like a
sexy.
very good concluding. Like I think
Right,
certainty, the whole movie is so uncertain, right?
right. But it's uncertain, but it's potentiality is like, something, as it says, a determination something might be true. So it's that it has the potential, and you can, it's almost like a rheostat on the potential for what it could be. And gets ratcheted up. So yeah, anybody could do it. And this kid, he knows it, I'm sure of it. Um, I'm not certain.
Could you see? I'm not making an argument. I'm just more asking a question, I guess. But could you see certainty in more of Loki's point of view of like we have to be certain, and Keller's as more the potential driving it, or would that be flipped? Because again, if it were that, I don't know if that actually is their thing, but would that be a good illustration or
You mean
no?
thinking of it in terms of the pivotal elements?
Yeah, like if one was driving one, would that be an example of that?
Um, I think so, and I think that's one of the reasons. I mean, if that would that were the case,
Yeah.
that would be uh, the main character would be in the problem element, right? Or is it, Jim, this stuff? I don't know.
What's the question?
So if the um if the main character were potentiality, that means the influence character would be certainty, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um and
Assuming it's
a
a
number of other factors. It's
yeah.
it's in the success story,
And if Loki is the main character, because
and
then
Loki being the main character, yes. Oh, Loki being the main character. Yeah. The
Right,
main,
because
oh, so you would have him in the solution element.
oh no, I thought you said
So potentiality.
Loki is potentiality and Keller is certainty. Isn't that what you were saying?
I was
No, I was saying
I
the
was
flip
saying
side, flip of
the
that.
flip.
Oh,
I
okay.
was just wondering if that would be an illustration of that. Like, I was just trying to understand those
Well,
two elements, if that illustration would even work.
Yeah, I would say if anything, Keller is he says it about 5,000 times that he's certain that
Yeah.
what's his name is the
oh, certainty is a problem.
yeah.
I mean, I do think the ultimate solution is deduction because Joy says, "You were there."
Yeah.
And then he's like, all the pins fall. And he's like, "Oh, I was at that crazy woman's house. That's where they are." Right? I guess that doesn't actually bring it to a solution. What brings it to an ending is that Loki gets sent there.
Yeah, it's weird. It's definitely somewhere between work and attempt, I would say for sure.
Yeah.
And I thought certainty and potentiality too, but then that's why I was reading up to see why they did the killings. Oh, what's that noise? Where is it?
Johnny tapping his fingers. No.
Oh, because it was revenge against God, right? Because they
Hmm.
lost their son to cancer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, because it could, I could see that one, or maybe two. What I was thinking was the motivation for him to abduct Alex and to do all that stuff is inaction. Like you're not doing anything, so somebody's got to
Yeah.
do something, right?
Right.
With the idea being the only thing that I mean, the really clear change thing is because the reason why I was so quiet in the beginning is I was watching the last 20, 30 minutes while we were going through the thing.
Okay.
And I was super distracted because like she's like,
Okay.
you're the one who did it. And I'm like, wait a second, what? So but so I had the captions on, and sometimes you don't pick it up unless captions are on.
Right.
But Loki basically just repeats line for line, prepare for the worst or whatever
Yeah.
the protection element. He basically says that, like because he's a prepper. That's
Hmm.
Keller is painted as this like prepper and will do anything to protect the family.
Oh,
So
and well, yeah, thematically, that's really big. And the wife says that to him. You were supposed to protect our
Oh, yeah.
family.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, so I would think like if and then Loki is in action, right? He's like, hey, chill out, just sit down, don't do anything, take it
Hmm.
easy, take it. And then he starts to F up when he starts to flip the switch and he becomes more like Keller when he like runs in there and tell me where he is, that kind of thing. And then that's because he did that, that's why the guy was able to get the gun, right? So
Right.
um
So those would not be the problem and solution. Those would be symptom and response.
I mean I would think it could be, and I really like the other one, certainty, and I like induction and deduction too. But if inaction is the problem, and then finally uh, Loki gets to the place where he is just all about protection no matter what, and he ends up saving the girl because he's protecting
Hmm.
her,
Right.
going there last second and to get in there. I would think that would be more because if you were talking about like those hardcore elements about the two of them, Loki is
So
very
well,
definitely.
let me just try. Let's just try it, and then we can back out and try a different one, right?
Yeah.
So let's just see what so if we say the solution is protection, then right?
Yeah.
All right. So we still don't have a domain. Uh,
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, you gotta make Loki the main character, right? Like,
I think so. I mean, he seems to be the one who is going. Well, he's certainly the change character.
yeah.
So if we
Well,
make him a change character, then we know that this is going to be Loki and he's manipulation, and we can undo that and check it for the other way around too.
Mhm.
Um, so we end up with the a problem of inaction, right? Protection, because there would be a change character. Uh, and that would put Keller, his problem is acceptance and non-acceptance. That doesn't sound right.
Sounds
Well,
bad.
yeah, if everybody's just accepting what it is, and then that motivates him into action.
Oh, accepting when it's not acceptable,
Yeah.
or treating things acceptable is like no. Um,
Hmm.
you need to, right.
Even
And if we just look at it the other, look at, and then let's see the relationship. We have fixed attitude, contemplation, doubt, reduction, production, revaluation, memory. Let's try the other one, the other way around. Let's make this activity and steadfast. All right, so how does this go? And we definitely, and this would be a linear for sure. For if Keller is the main character, he's definitely a linear thinker. Um, how does that look? So we have attempt, inaction, protection, evaluation, revulsion, repulsion, reconscious, how things are changing, learning, preconditions, acceptance, survivors, analysis, attempt. This one doesn't feel right.
Yeah, we're always watching Keller. There's never a time
Yeah,
when Loki's
yeah,
done something that we don't know what he's doing, but there's lots of times when Keller's like off beating the crap out of Alex and we don't see it.
I'm pretty sure that our main character is a. And is he male or female mental sex?
Loki is female
You think?
for sure.
Yeah, that's
I
probably one of
mean,
the reasons why it's hard to step inside.
I
Try
mean,
to.
right in the beginning, it's like he's just trying to. Well, first of all, I think when he sees at the vigil and goes after the guy, that's very like pattern recognition. Like, oh, this is weird, and I'm going to
Mhm.
chase that guy. I don't really have a reason. Beating the keyboard is, I mean, right?
No, it is. It's just a sort of a negative spin on female mental sex,
Yes,
but
yes,
that's
yes,
all right.
yes. I meant he's got fantastic intuition.
There we
I think
go.
beating the keyboard is very like
Hmm.
I've got to just get this energy out of me. Um, and he has one very early that I was trying to remember.
Well, even that conversation with the waitress, it's like he has a little attempt at linearity and it's like it completely like fails,
Mhm.
or he says, oh, well, not really linearity, he just says, do you think I can change, if can you talk to your boss about reducing the cost or something? And she goes, no, he's a rooster. It's like,
Right.
oh, it's the relationship. And then he looks down and goes, oh yeah.
What? And very quietly, he's like, I mean, quietly, it doesn't affect the movie a lot. His stuff is like, go home and take care of go home and be with your wife.
Hmm.
Your kid's gonna need you when she gets back. It's all very relationship oriented.
His advice to others. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that would make sense with like why he is like, give me one more day, maybe.
Right, right. Because he's trying to, he's looking at he sees things bubbling over and there's not a logical reason or a linear reason for doing it. It's
Yeah.
just like, we don't want to push these too much. If you push too much, it's going to blow up. Just let it deflate a little bit, give it a little bit more time. And also it'll keep my relationship with the parents better. But his
Hmm.
boss goes ahead and like, nope.
Yeah.
Well,
One thing that
that
is
would be.
interesting to me about him being holistic, though, is that the story was very linear in that they kept running into complete dead ends. And then they
Well,
would
because
meet.
because again, the protagonist is sort of very, very linear and just pursue, and then like crash and burn.
But even like when they would get the Book of Mazes, they didn't know what it meant, right? And then they would um the sock or the clothes. It's like this means one thing, and then it was like, no, it doesn't. And they kept having
And
this
the
very
blood, no,
halting.
it's only pig's blood,
Right. It was just this very halting move forward. And I think one of the reasons that so it's just interesting seeing those linear building blocks with Loki being holistic. And maybe one of the reasons he's good at this job is because he can wait for the picture to form
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to crash and burn. Like
Right. Say,
the
oh
way that
well, it's
yeah, Keller
failed.
just couldn't stop.
Right. Um,
So I'm having a hard time seeing inaction as the overall problem. I can see that from a perspective within the story as a character looking at it, that's saying you're not doing anything, but objectively, that's not the case.
Well,
I mean,
look at the case. I mean, they don't they don't find anyone. And it's like, it's like nothing's happening.
that's not a lack of trying.
It's
And that's
not
not
lack of effort.
that's not a purposeful not doing anything, which is what an action is supposedly supposed to be. I mean, he's constantly investigating. Loki's constantly doing things for the case. It just doesn't. I mean, if I'm looking at the objective story from Keller's perspective, sure, but from a top-down perspective, I don't see that at all.
So it says that, inaction does not mean simply sitting still. An inactive character might choose to allow a course of action by not interfering, or might refuse to move out of the harm's way, thereby forming resistance to the progress that drives the harm.
That
Um,
feels very fitting for the Terrence Howard, Viola Davis characters. Because they seem, I mean, Viola Davis even has the line, like, we don't have to help him, but we just let him do his thing, kind of. And the wife kind of even comes to that towards the end, it feels like.
Well, and even he gives him the hammer. He's like, you can let him out if you want to.
Yeah, that's true.
And Terrence doesn't do it. He takes the inactive thing, which is like even worse.
right. Exactly. I mean, that's the point, is that there's an opportunity, key opportunities for action, and they don't take it. They don't do anything. Um,
But the two main people are always doing things.
right, because again, when you're talking about the problem is the source of the conflict. It's not the attention of the conflict. Conflict is always going to be in the symptom and response for the most part. It's the effects of the problem that we're looking at for most of the story until we get sort of tear it back down to, oh, this is what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the idea that protection is the solution, but they're not protecting.
Mhm.
The police are supposed to be protection, and if they were doing what they should be doing, then it would have been resolved the problem. And ultimately, that's what happens. So ultimately, the police do protect the daughter and the people from the bad guy, or in this case, the bad lady. And it resolves the problem. But the inaction, the lack of protection is what the wife's talking about. But even when they're given an opportunity to take action, they don't. But it's all, we just have this reevaluation and then, evaluation. So reevaluation, it's sort of like, okay, he's guilty. Well, no, he's got the brains of a 10-year-old. It's like, so we did evaluation, but then you have to reevaluate what you thought because it's new information. Meanwhile, you've got the uh, the dad saying, this guy's, he was in that place. What do you mean? He tried to drive off. He's like, well, how do you explain it to me? He tried to
Mm.
run away. How is that possibly okay?
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, let's look at some of the. So if we're looking now, the main character as Loki, um, issue of expediency. Um, so this is what we were talking about with him trying to sort of take little cut corners a bit,
Hmm.
um, which like going in Farrell's house, say, oh, look, there's this loose board. I'm gonna
Hmm.
follow. Um,
Or the priest at the beginning, hey, do you mind if I
right,
take a look
exactly.
around?
Yeah, exactly. He's completely, sleeping. It's like, hey, I'm gonna look around, okay, but that And it's what expediency versus permission, right? Isn't that
Okay.
This is me.
need? Oh, right. Oh,
So what about all of that is personal? I mean, isn't the only really personal thing about him is that he may have been abused as a child?
Um,
So he's
I
not
think
dealing with that somehow, but everything else seems like it's the detective.
That's kind of where I went at the beginning, is that that's sort of why I felt like Keller was the main character and Loki was the protagonist, because all of the actions felt very centered in the
oh,
objective story, but I can
I
see the
think
arguments too.
I think this is where you have a detective story as opposed to a detection story, where your character is a detective and
Hmm.
the issues that as there is in their capacity as a detective, that you're looking at their, that's their life. I mean,
Yeah.
I that is, that is their personal life. They don't really have
Yeah.
much outside of it.
And
Um,
that is stated by like the I don't know the boss guy's name, the captain's name. He says basically like, go find a girl, have a family,
you want
you know,
fulfillment, go
because
find a family.
yeah, because I can see that argument too, because it's like he doesn't have the home life. He doesn't have really anything outside of that. That's why I mean, they're both very obsessive in the way characters, but yeah.
Yeah, so can we map some of that onto this maybe? That just to look at it, because I didn't get the chance to get through it all again a second time, but I
oh,
was wondering if there's anything personal that we can ascribe to. I just remember him being hinted at as having suffered abuse.
Yeah,
He
that
definitely say that, yeah.
is the backstory, I think, and that's like related, I think, to the priest
And maybe him
subplot a
not
little bit.
dealing with it, and then now he does deal with it, and so I don't know. Maybe there's something.
Possibly. I don't know.
they really didn't reveal a whole lot,
Light.
I
It's
think.
very light, yeah.
Yeah, it's very light. Um, my guess is that's, you know, because I don't think he was supposed to be the main character. My guess is that Keller's supposed to be the main character.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But
Here's why I think you're right, Chris. I'd love to swap these again and see if we could do it with Keller, is because I feel like the movie is about big picture, like the depths, the lengths that a person will go to protect their family, um and that is about Keller. Loki doesn't seem to be look, I don't okay, it's called prisoners because people are trapped in things, right? I don't see what Loki is trapped in, whereas I see what Keller is trapped in.
Hmm.
And so that's what draws me to putting him as the main character. Is it feels like thematically they want us paying attention to this guy ruining himself.
Yeah. I mean, if a judgment is bad, which it is, and I know it's not only main character centric, but it certainly feels like that's much more heavily weighed on Keller than
okay, so
Loki.
let's see. So for Keller, um, for the main character as Keller, we have an issue of preconditions. Um, so a a value standard as it concerns restrictions imposed on an effort, which he certainly does seem to chafe at all the rules and restrictions that
Hmm.
he feels are placed on him in order for him to find
As a
the,
father.
the
Mhm.
answers he wants, to protect his family. Um, he has would have a problem of acceptance. Uh,
I would go back to what Jim was saying. His symptom, I would say something like he's so certain. All of his problems come from being so certain. So I don't know if it's his problem or if it's his symptom, by the way, but like he's so certain that that Alex is going to tell him that he just goes down that road and he never lets it go.
Yeah. I mean, symptom of probability is really good because it's like he goes for the low hanging fruit every time. It's probably this creep in a van. That's obvious. Probably if I keep beating the hell out of this guy, he's
Well,
going to tell me
remember,
no
the
more.
symptom is would be what would be the likelihood, and that's going to be seen as for him as the problem. Remember, he's a steadfast character, so he's going to see looking at things like probabilities, likelihood. How likely is this guy with a 10-year-old um, IQ to do it? Well, it's possible. I mean, he's
Yeah,
driving a car.
I don't think that that's where it gets to. I think pretty immediately, or not, I don't know exactly, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever into it, they figure out that he wasn't it, but it's like, no, he knows more. That kind of feels like it's like he's pressing him for information, and that's why it's not necessarily that he's guilty. I don't think that that's where the certainty
Right.
would be. I think it's
But
he,
again, it's that's where he's focusing on the possibility that he might know who is.
yeah.
Can we
Not the
just
probability, but the possibility.
flip possibility into the symptom then?
Not with certainty is the problem.
No, I know, but
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess originally I was even thinking I would put certainty as the symptom because he's so certain that Alex is the answer.
All right, well, let's try that.
Deduction solution.
Hmm. Look at that.
Critical flaw of repulsion. Um,
I keep going over for the definition, but it doesn't come up.
I mean, the thing that I do like about this with like the idea of the issue being work is that like they're both doing, or at least the whole point of Loki is what we're doing is going to work, right?
Oh, work in this case is it's like this is something that I know how to do. This is something that we do. This is not something that's wildly out of possible. This is something that we should be able to find this person.
Mm-hmm.
That's what work means. It's within your known capability,
Yeah, I
Right.
mean,
as opposed to, like he has to be a ballerina. Okay, that might be an attempt. That wouldn't be in work.
Right. And then something like in the OS, the symptom of certainty, the problem is the complete lack of certainty of any of these clues, right? Um,
Well, or the way to see it is again the symptom as opposed to the response. The symptom would be something that is seen as a problem. So
mhm,
it's not the source of the problem, but it is seen problematic, and that is determination that something is true, and that creates trouble. Like this guy cannot be the one who did it, and so then
mhm,
it's like, well, but what's the potentiality of letting him go? Well, maybe he could get somebody else, pick up another kid. It's like, so why don't you just hold him for a little bit? If you're so sure, then hold him.
mhm,
Otherwise, if by letting him out, who knows what havoc he could do. I mean, and you see that dynamic absolutely play out. Um,
mhm. And
where
then
with the attempt, that's doing something that you don't know. And that's like when you kidnap someone. Well, he doesn't know if that's going to work.
and actually going after that guy at the vigil, isn't that sort of an attempt, right? Like they don't know that that guy has any
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Um, and
But
and by the way, like following Keller, right? Is
yeah, well, that's more in the lines of work that
that work? Yeah, that'd
that
be yeah.
well, yeah, for Loki.
Um, and then the inhibitor might of an analysis might be like we can't analyze these clues. We don't know what the maze means. We don't know.
That fast. Linear. Okay, same response. Okay.
And then down in the relationship, it's like I mean, investigation, it's cute, it's right on the nose, but like with the problem of proaction, right, is it's like Keller won't stop. He's too proactive,
Right.
right? Um, the catalyst of doubt might be like, oh, I'm beginning to think this guy might have done it,
Hmm.
right?
Or the doubt of this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I have to take action into my own hands, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Which would be like an impulsive response, but I don't know if that would exactly you would see that there, but there could be an impulsive response. I don't know if it is.
Right.
So I had a question about this is just general, like in terms of like this is I guess divorced from this story, but like with problem and solution and kind of like the driver of the story of whatever kicks it off. Would it be fair to say for all stories that that's going to be like related to like what because I mean you can see that with like a situation, but I was thinking like in like a disaster movie or something like that, right? That might not come from any particular issue of like a character flaw of some kind. So it's like I'm trying to I guess I'm not formulating it well, but like I'm trying to say like are those going to be like really clearly linked? Like we
No.
wouldn't have we never would be in this situation if it was for this problem being out of balance or something.
Well, well, you're trying to create a causal relationship, and it's
It's not a
not
causal
not
relationship.
it's not causal in that sense. It's sort of like, well, all right. It depends if you're talking about the nature of the driver or a specific storytelling, just a way in which it's illustrated.
Hmm.
So the nature of the driver is completely unrelated to the structure in the
Okay.
sense that every possible single item can be with every combination of dynamics.
Okay.
So there isn't a one-to-one correlation between like the problem overall story problem element with anything.
Hmm.
It's when you start to combine things that you then start to limit them because it's like, okay, if I put my finger on the overall story problem and choose these dynamics, well, that will limit to a certain degree what other things are going to be in that same world.
Hmm.
But so there is no one-to-one correlation to a driver and the a through line problem. But when you illustrate it, you can certainly tie it if you want to.
Okay.
It's not wrong. It's not but it's not also not something that it has to be that way.
Okay.
In the overall story, the entire final sequence is the movie's solid by inductioning. I mean, Loki's
Right.
there putting these clues together.
And then the big clue being the picture that he'd already seen in the very beginning.
Right, the maze thing.
And
Yeah.
then the I mean not the picture, he'd seen, well, first he saw the picture and didn't really notice it. And then the next thing he did is he found the dead body with that the maze
Right.
necklace.
Right.
And then the next thing we know, it's Bob, right? That's the guy who shoots himself.
Bob. Yeah, with the
Yeah.
snake.
Mhm.
And then Bob's obsession with these map puzzles
Right.
because he was abducted by that guy.
Her husband. Yeah. Mhm.
And then when um, the evidence of that was in the Winnebago or whatever you want to call it, the
Mhm.
RV. And then when he sees the photo of it, I mean, after he's smashed all of his stuff, when Loki sees the photo on the floor that shows the partially exposed map drawing that was in the RV, that's he's like, huh. And then back to when he finally goes back in the house and he sees the picture again for the second time and sees the dad, quote
Yeah.
unquote, the uncle with that chain. So now he knows who that body is for sure.
Right.
It all comes full circle, and he
Right.
knows that that guy who died, who was killed, was a child abductor.
Right. From the priest. Still, yeah.
Right,
You confessed to.
right. So yeah, that's sort of the induction of taking all these pieces and then finding the bigger pattern that's in it. You know, there are all these different patterns that match those small set
Mm-hmm.
of clues. So yeah, that I mean that works certainly in the overall story. And of course, that also works for the influence character as the detective, having those personal. Um, although as a solution, he never gets there personally. He does professionally, but he doesn't get there personally. Um, that's interesting for him. The symptom for the influence character is induction. I mean, is
Proaction.
protection, is proaction, yeah, and then reaction response. You know, it's just so hard because I mean, when we're not clear on who the main character is and who the influence character is, it kind of
Yeah.
means all context is conditional.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And in that case, Chris,
Yeah.
would we as individual viewers who think different people are the main character interpret things differently and come up with two story forms that fit pretty well?
Well, yeah, I mean, you saw when we were able to swap those things out and keep a lot of the same elements.
Right.
It's just it, it's not the same story form. So
Mhm.
it's not telling, the dynamics
I know.
are
I guess I mean I know it's not
similar.
going to be the same story form, but would two different people that would see a different character as the main character literally see a different story?
Yeah,
See it.
they'd experience it differently. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, but I mean, we tend to do that anyway because we're always bringing all of our own baggage to it
Mhm.
too. That
Right.
always influences the audience reception.
Right.
The story form is the part that should be least influenced by the baggage that you bring as an audience member because
Yeah, that
it's
makes sense.
kind of like woven into the fabric of the narrative itself. Um,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not, I don't know that this is it. I don't know that it's not it. I don't have a
Mhm.
really strong feeling about the story form personally.
Yeah, because it's hard because a lot of these elements all seem to blend together with what the story's about.
Well, they do in the fact that is that there's a lot that's ambiguous in the
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
know, the perspective being the biggest one. I think my experience of it, much of it was the first part was the first time I was watching it, I thought it was Keller was main character until the end when it's like, why are we're spending the end of this movie with Loki. And then I started watching it again, and it's like, oh, Loki was really prominent in the first part of it, but it's just very uninteresting by comparison to the anger management problems of of Keller. You know, he's far
Yeah,
more
but
that part of the
it
story
could be
is
also where Keller gets his answers. He's right. He's been trying to learn what's going on. Once he gets it, his story's over. His through line's pretty much done.
Yeah, I would
sort
say
of.
too, the other problem is because if Loki is holistic, and everybody here is probably linear, that people are
Yeah,
having a hard time. Like I
identify.
didn't even think of Loki as holistic, but then once that was brought up,
Yeah,
everybody was like super confident. I was like, oh, maybe that's
That
why.
would be
that would make sense to me because also like thinking of it as a detective mystery story, there's not a lot of like, I mean, a lot of things happen, but it doesn't feel like they're all connected until the end. It feels like it's like this and then, but there, it doesn't, I guess I should say it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of like, well, we need to go find this guy because this guy did this thing and this, like most detective kind of stories follow similar patterns like that. And that feels more linear.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
this
thought
is more like
too.
you have to find all of the players to and understand their relationship, and
Yeah,
then
that
you can
feels way
put it
more
all together.
important.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I thought it was going to be because it's pitched as like, what lengths would you go to save your child or whatever. So it's like, oh man, it's going to be like tons of scenes of him beating the crap out of this guy.
Right.
And we did get a little bit of it for sure, but then there's a lot of times when he's there and you're not with him, and then you're like watching him from afar, and it's like, where are you going? And
Hmm.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
well, and even yeah, because my initial thinking, like I said, was Keller is the MC, but like you look at that scene from where they're out in the rain and the out in the bar, that's totally from Loki's perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other. I'm trying to think of other moments, what
But
which would be.
that's like Keller as suspect, right? That's like Keller as
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of
it's
other
Well,
part of the
it's
overall
Keller
scenes.
as
story.
what the yeah, it's him following like what is Keller doing?
Yeah,
I think I think he's up to something no good. You know,
right.
something that I need to know about, but I don't know what it is. Because he's,
But Keller at home with his wife, being addicted to drugs again, and his son not talking to. That's just more personal stuff. It's, and
Mhm.
again, it's really light, but at least it shows the deterioration of the self that
Right.
is
What's
is
funny
being
about that,
affected
John, is
by what's going on in the.
but
I
it's,
feel like that scene, the scene where the son yells at him, we are looking at him. We are not in his shoes.
Yeah, we're looking at the disintegration of the family,
Yeah,
but
and so it's almost like
not from the main character's perspective.
right, but I'm wondering if there's a like I don't know if it's intentional, but like the first half is Keller as the MC, and then it just switches like Denis Villeneuve like switches perspectives and makes Loki
Villeneuve?
the MC for the back half.
Mm.
Because the thing that is hard to imagine is that Keller sitting in the dungeon or the pit or whatever, you know, it's like he knows those guys are out there, which is why he's blowing the whistle, right?
Hmm.
And I want to know what his thing is, but will never know. Like, did he change? Did he not change? Because we've stopped looking at him.
Right.
But we have, now we're with Loki so much more. I don't know. I wonder if like there was just a deliberate POV switch made by the director.
plus his name is Loki. Like it's nobody.
No,
I
it's
know.
Detective Loki.
I
He
know,
doesn't have a
but
first name.
I know, but
No, he's
he's
low
caught
key.
between chaos and order. He's like
Yeah.
this, he's not doing enough to avenge. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's more about he's just low key until he's not.
He's low key the MC.
No, he's a very like we were saying earlier, he's very even keeled
Okay, then that still fits in better with him as
until
having
he
a
isn't.
problem of inaction.
No, he isn't. Yeah.
Okay, well,
I don't know.
Yeah, well, okay.
oh,
I just thought of another scene that's more positioned from Loki is at least in the shoes, right? I'm looking at like more the cinematography. Like we're in the car with Loki and Keller comes out to yell at him basically. I mean that's another I'm just going through my head thinking of like scenes with both of them together where one of them is more like cinematography
MC.
wise. Yeah. And I am kidding at least a couple. I'm trying to think of if there's any others, but
Jim, may I suggest you bring up the story form builder? I'll let me just stop the share.
Yeah.
I will say one more thing too, which is
Because I
I can
want to show
never
the
know how to
audience
pronounce it.
appreciation. That might help.
But the director, I can't remember I can never pronounce his last name.
Denis
Denis
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve. He made Dune, right? And the
Mhm.
Yeah.
first Dune, this has no main character in it at all. So it's
Well, yeah, it does, but it's very light.
Ah.
so his track record for let me like make
Yeah.
make it really clear who the main character is kind of suspect. Is my
So,
opinion.
um, oh, did
This
you
is
just,
the holistic one.
Blade Runner.
okay, so scroll down and show the audience appreciations. Okay, so we've added a couple of new audience appreciations, which were um, we call them audience experience, and we got rid of the weird names like story essence and story whatever. So now we've got, I think, a little stronger, more audience-friendly type of way to look at it. And each one has four options, so it's much more refined than the story form, but it's definitely looking at it from the audience's perspective. So this would be so the story reach empathize, women empathize, men sympathize. It's an actual predicament, which basically means that in this case, the main character had to change for the story, and the as part of that effect, the story ends in success. That the main character is pushed to act. There are a finite number of options. The main character is process oriented and needs to step up. The emotional outcome is dread, which I think that hits obviously pretty strongly. And the story ending is a personal tragedy. And so the feeling of it is that, that's your success bad story. Now, can we try the other one?
Yeah. Do let's do 1 sec.
Just see, because there'll be a couple of things that are different, and it'll be interesting to see if they seem to fit stronger to the sense of where the film is or not.
Let's see. Just give it 1 second.
So it was steadfast. Oh,
Yeah,
there we go. There we go.
to make it. There's some stuff I have to do to make it faster, but steadfast, and then he was a doer and linear, or yeah, linear, right?
Yep.
Actually, if you want, what I can do is I can do this. And then if you want to talk about these new buddies with the Seinfeld.
Oh, I don't want to talk about those right now.
Okay.
Melanie and I didn't
Hello?
didn't haven't had a chance to fully. Yeah,
Okay.
it's interesting stuff, but yeah, now's next time we definitely will.
Okay. Then never mind.
Is this all Dramatica's website, or is this
Yeah.
okay? Is this one you pay for then? Or is
Mhm.
it subscription, or how do you
Oh,
do
yeah,
that?
definitely.
Okay.
All right, let me go back over here then.
Wow, it's a little slow tonight.
Yeah, I just did a bunch of changes, so I
Oh,
haven't optimized it at all. It's super slow right now. Options.
and I think the growth is a stop.
Yeah. Growth. All right. Add. I'll do this.
It should imply that, right?
There it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So then this is learning.
It doesn't
Lord.
need those. It needs to have a single story form to have the audience appreciations.
I mean, not necessarily. You get some of them. I mean, there you got
Yeah.
enough if you want to.
So it says broad empathy and actual endeavor, which is sort of you needed to plow ahead,
See, that
driven
one
to
to me,
act,
that one to me seems off
huh?
that one to me seems off compared to predicament.
Yeah, it does.
If we were to compare.
Finite options, goal oriented, uh, outlasting. That's definitely not right. Emotional outcome loss. I think the other one feels like it's the right one.
Yeah, these are just based on the dynamics, and then
Yeah, because it's not a loss. I think it's more the dread.
yeah, this would be the other one, I think.
Yeah, I think that works better, because our main character is pushed to act, and you certainly see him being pushed constantly you know, to get something done.
Instead
And
of
it does
having
have much more of a dread end, it's like
Is that only looking at the end, or does
it's
that like
looking at
even?
the whole no, it's looking at the whole thing. It's not the end. It's like this sense of dread.
The
Um,
emotional outcome is like the sum total of the movie. It leaves us.
Okay.
yeah, yeah, feels like, there's this dread of this kid, the kids are going to be dead and all the families are
Yeah, because
destroyed.
like that carries throughout the whole movie. Lost
Yeah,
doesn't exactly, especially at the end when they're alive.
right. But well, that's this right. It would be the story would be about loss. And I think it feels much more like it's about dread than loss.
Yeah, it's like
Um, so
okay.
this one, I think from an audience experience wise, this one I think feels more like at least what I saw,
Hmm.
what I experienced, as opposed to necessarily now the thing is, by choosing these as an audience member, this would be identifying the way you received it. And it's not a great way to identify how the author intended it.
That's a
That's what the ones we have in the story form, that you're saying, this is what I think the author's intent was. This is how I received it, which implies in a more um, uh, analog way what the intent was.
Mm-hmm.
And because I mean, I like both the process oriented, that's much stronger. The
And you're
push,
saying these have four, like under process oriented, there's four things possibly?
yeah.
Yeah,
Can I
Okay.
make one just off the bat suggestion here?
Yep.
Um, I can't really read the definitions under there. I find many people, me included, don't really know what empathy and sympathy are. They get just they're like colloquially, they're kind of like mushed together.
Right.
And I would somehow link that to a definition, just seeing women empathize and men sympathize. That is
I think it has an explanation underneath it.
okay. Great.
So if are you just going to bring it up again and we'll just look at it? Okay, so can you enlarge the window so that that's a okay, good.
yeah. So those are the
So men and women identify with the main character's story constraints. Men identify and women commiserate with the main character's story constraints. Women identify and men commiserate with the main story constraints. Men and women commiserate with the main character's story constraints. So those are the definitions.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, it does feel more like, I guess looking at it that way, I've never really thought of it this way, but it does feel like we feel bad for Keller, but we don't really
Identify.
empathize with him, right?
Yeah.
Whereas we
So
do feel more like we're in, even though, like, yeah, I am rewrapping this in my head the way that I've interpreted the whole movie because looking at it from his perspective does kind of make more sense, I think. Or when I say his, I mean Loki's.
why don't you show the next one? Don't put, yeah. So this is the story dilemma. So it's an actual predicament, an apparent predicament, an actual endeavor, or apparent predicament. This is endeavor instead of work we used to have, but it's doing
Mhm.
you're attempting something and you really did need to do that, as opposed to you really didn't need to do that. Um, and then story pressure. So you're driven to act, um, pushed to act, pushed to decide, or driven to decide.
What's the difference in driven and pushed? Like one's internal, one's external?
Well, no, it's sort of like okay, if the wind's at your back or the wind's at your front. You know, it's like the wind is with you or the wind is against you.
I got it. I cannot see reading the white underneath. I get it.
Oh, yes.
So it's like
It's the willing,
intentional versus
unwilling.
being forced.
And then so now we have with the story constraints, it's you have a deadline, finite options, fixed span of time, or confined space. That's how you know the four different
Mhm.
ways of looking at the remember we were talking about the option lock, there was always four. Well, it's
Yeah.
actually yeah.
Hmm.
Is that what determines that besides the limit? The
Um the constraints, I
yeah.
think it's okay. It is, hold on a sec.
Do those show up in the story form at all? Those differences?
Yeah,
Or is
they'll
it
pick the
it's like
story
an
forming choices.
amalgamation?
Hmm.
Oh, I'm looking in the wrong place. Duh.
I mean, is it tied to prerequisites or anything?
All right, it is, we're looking at which one? Story constraints, right? Dilemma. Crap. I can't remember off the top of my head. Constraints. All right. So it's time lock, it's the limit and driver. That's what the combination is.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So an
And
action driver plus a option lock,
Action option lock is finite options.
and decision is space.
Yep.
So, okay. Any decision space. Anyone off the top of their head remember if uh the Boston Diocese movie is a decision or
Oh my God.
Spotlight, is that the one?
what's it called?
Spotlight, is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
Spotlight.
Oh, I should be able to find out over here.
What about
I mean,
conclave? That's a decision.
it does feel decision in the sense of like, are we going to publish the story? I'm just going off. I don't know. I think I've looked at that
Wait,
analysis.
what was it called?
Spotlight.
Spotlight.
All right. This. Oh, where is it? I don't see it in here. Not sure where I have the story form. Oh, maybe there it is. Let's see. Is it in there?
So it's decision option,
Spotlight.
confined space.
Yeah, I think that's right because it's confined to Boston.
Interesting.
That's exactly why I asked because it's like a ring that goes out until it confines all of Boston and then the movie's over. That's
Yep.
cool.
You can also look at it as that's where you would have a road trip
Right.
would also be the same. It would also fit into that definition.
Let's go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once you hit the extremis of the space, then you have your climax.
Right. So you're saying size does matter?
In only 1/4 of the stories. And then so you have goal-oriented, result-oriented, purpose-oriented, and process-oriented. Those are for your character orientation.
Situation. I like that.
And then for character evolution, it's letting go, stepping up, outlasting, or holding out. So this is when we were always talking about growth, how we had, whether or not you're a change character or you're a steadfast character. Well, that's not, I mean, that's sort of the other part of it. The character orientation is part, and the character evolution is the other part. So you have the different ways of sort of growing into or out of something and or outlasting it or holding out.
Yeah, I like those terms. Those feel right.
Again, they're very audience-y,
Yeah.
and more writerly, but they're not very technical.
This is
Yeah.
outcome and growth. Is that what it is?
I believe, hold
I think it's
on.
resolve and growth.
Yeah, resolve and growth.
Resolve and growth. Okay.
Oh crap, where is that?
Because in this one, it would be if Loki's the main character, it would be stepping up, right?
Yeah,
And that feels right.
yeah. He has to step up, it's like and he's being pushed to by everybody, including Keller, to like step up. I mean, there's a lot of pressure for him to step up. And then we've got this is what emotional outcome, hope, relief, dread, or loss. Hope is your happy ending. I'm not the ending. It's hope. Hope is it's the sense that things are getting better. This is not it's not the happy ending. That's story ending. Um, so it's things are getting better, or things that were bad are being relieved, or there's a sense of dread. So things are turning bad, and sense of loss. We've gotten over something that we've we've lost something altogether. And then the last one is story ending, which are your 4 possible combos, which are, the triumph, tragedy, personal triumph, and personal tragedy. So this is something that Jim said, I need you to work on these. And then we thought we were doing it, and it's like, oh, well, we think there needs to be more of them. And of course, in fact, that did need to be more of them. So what it does is that it combines each of the dynamics twice.
Interesting.
4 of the combinations are one plot, one character.
Mm-hmm.
2 of the combinations are character and character, and 2 of the combinations are plot and plot. So it's a really nice balanced sense of combining the dynamics, which is more or less closer to how we receive them once they're all mixed up, into a baked pie, a baked narrative. So that's why we thought, let's put those in there, and that way, I like for tonight. I think it was really helpful because I think it gives us a better sense of which one feels like it's supposed to be. What was the experience? What did it seem like? And it just, to me, it's from my experience, it seemed like Loki was is the main character, whether or not that was the intent.
Mm-hmm.
Because it sure was it sure was sold that Keller was the main character, and certainly protect. But I mean, all the advertising, everything was pushing
Yeah.
Keller as the principal.
Mhm.
Well, I think he does have the more, I guess, in some sense, interesting
Oh, absolutely. He's
story,
far more
right?
dynamic. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the whole point. He's far more interesting. He's far more extreme. Um, and
But like you get that with like stories like Mary Poppins. Isn't Mary Poppins the influence character, not the main character?
mhm.
So it's like you still get that in certain stories where the influence it's all about the influence character, even if it's
Right. It
not.
has a main character, and they're
Or
just a way for the audience to get on board, but it's really all about the influence character.
like that
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers movie, I think was like that too, right? It was like
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, the every person, the everyman kind of
mhm.
main character.
I wonder if that's probably the dynamic that's at play with like a straight man and comedic relief kind of dynamics. It's probably looking at that sort of thing. The straight man is
Well,
more the
yeah,
main
48
character,
hours.
right?
Yeah, 48 hours, same thing. You got the straight man is the policeman, he's the main character, and the convict is the, flamboyant influence
Hmm.
character.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that was good. Good show and tell. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, that was good. Like that.
Okay. So, we have to deal with next year. Well, we have to deal with December. That's right. We haven't even thought about December. Um, so what about December? Anybody have something fun, holiday-ish, or maybe not didn't have to be holiday, just something light, something that's enjoyable. Oh, I thought of something that we hadn't. I don't think we
Yeah,
had.
we're not doing the building. Build a story.
The what?
We're not building a story.
No, it's just us. It's like kind of. I don't think that's not a skill that I think we need to do.
Um,
Um, well,
it just popped in my head. I don't want to do it, but it's like if we do one of those really stupid Lifetime or Hallmark Christmas
uh,
and see if there's anything there.
I don't know if it's any good.
Yeah.
That's
Let me just pull up my list if I can pops out.
Did we do Die Hard?
I think we've done Die Hard. That's a. Oh yes, it's a
Probably before my
Christmas
time.
movie.
It's a
Yes,
Christmas.
get into
I
that debate.
I do think it is a Christmas movie, and like, cause I've heard it like Lethal Weapon doesn't feel like a Christmas movie, even though it is set at Christmas, because it has a lot of identifiers of Christmas stuff related to the plot, and it feels like it might not feel. I don't know. I'm not gonna argue.
Which Die Hard? Oh no,
Die
Die
Hard.
Hard. It's I mean, tons of Christmas music running through the whole thing. It's a big
Mhm.
Christmas party. You know,
It feels more well, and also like the family element of it. It feels like it has a lot more thematic
yeah.
material, which I think is maybe why it resonates more. Because there are a lot of movies that are set at Christmas that you wouldn't really consider.
Well, yeah,
Eyes Wide
Christmas
Shut is a
Eve.
Christmas movie.
What?
Eyes
one?
Wide Shut.
Oh yeah, that's a good example.
Have
That
we
does not feel like a Christmas movie.
have we done Apollo 13?
Mm.
Mm-mm.
No.
Um, so there's a thought. Um,
We did Home Alone.
Oh, please no.
We have.
Yeah, we have, but I just
have we done I'm just looking at
No.
movies that I think might be fun. Heaven Can Wait.
didn't we do that? I mean, if not, that would be fine. That's a very fun one.
Yeah, we don't have the story form for that.
I was gonna say, or we could do Elf.
We have
I
Elf.
think you've done
Yeah,
that.
Oh, we
we've
do
done
have
I think
Elf.
we've done that.
Okay. Well, I mean, Heaven Can Wait is I'm okay with that. Is it easy to get, easy to stream?
I have no idea. I also have How to Steal a Million here, which is Audrey Hepburn. I don't know much
I
about the
don't think I've
movie.
ever seen that.
I don't know any. I'm literally just on my list here. I don't know anything about it.
Does the Sting have
Oh, we did that. I remember that.
What about
Yeah.
The Hustler?
It's all before my time. Oh, you had to do
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's a nice happy movie.
Sorry, I meant Midnight
Color of
Cowboy.
Money, right?
Oh, we have that.
We did that one.
Heaven Can Wait doesn't look like it's free on anything, but
It's not free, although except I think you can watch it on Tubi.
I don't see it on there right now.
Oh no,
I'm
Pluto.
looking on the Just Watch site.
So what's Pluto TV? I've never seen that.
I think it's the same idea. I mean, it's a different company, obviously, but
What?
um,
Oh, so you can watch it on Pluto, which I'd never heard of. Um, it's pretty low quality unless I imagine you sign in and do something.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's streaming.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
just looking at my list here. Here, I'm gonna put a movie in the messages because to see you have to understand why this would be a funny movie to do. You have to look at the trailer, but it's like it might actually be like
Florida Lock?
yeah. It's like a it's an old I haven't seen it, right? But like the trailer, I'm like, someone really went all out to make this movie this way. Someone made some hard choices.
Did you ever do Ruthless People?
Yeah. Oh, we didn't?
Nope.
Oh, that movie's hysterical.
Yeah.
So if we want to do Heaven Can Wait, that's great. I mean, again, it is available for free on Pluto, which you can stream it.
Hmm.
Um, I've got it streaming right now, but I can stop that. Watch it. Otherwise it's $4 from Apple. I mean, it's not on, is it, but it not on Amazon? I don't believe that. Oh, yeah, it's not streaming on Amazon. That's weird. But it is on Apple and uh, Google Play, Fandango at Home, YouTube, so or free on Pluto TV.
All right. Yeah.
So the Borderlock is it a
It's like a vampire movie set when people still like painted their face, like men still painted their face white and stuff. And I think it might be a
what?
silent movie.
Okay.
Like I'm not saying it wouldn't have a story form. It'd just be like, it just is a like bold choice. That's my point about the person who made it. And it's streaming too. So, but I'm not really suggesting it. I just came
Oh, on
across it.
YouTube, right.
Trading Places is a Christmas movie.
Do we have a story form for that?
I thought we had one for that.
I thought so too. I know we talked.
I've never seen.
Oh, where is this made? Borderlock.
I don't know.
There's one I can throw out there. It's called Hundreds of Beavers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that or seen that.
That does not have a story form.
It doesn't? Have you seen it?
Yeah, yeah.
What is
Okay.
this? I'm sorry.
I haven't seen it. I just heard good reviews about it. It's supposed
What
to be
was
like
that?
very stylistic. It's called Hundreds of Beavers. It's like a weird kind of
That
almost
is another
hybrid.
that is another movie that you are so impressed that somebody decided to make a movie like this.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's a good movie.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
like
I
it
haven't
is
seen it.
bananas. And the first it's people love it. I loved the first like 20, 30 minutes of this movie. And then I was like, what is going on? Because it's like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon,
Mhm.
but then
Hmm.
it's like 2 hours.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh yeah.
But
You get
again,
really
watch
tired
the
of that.
you should definitely watch the trailer and just go like, oh my God, someone made a 2 hour movie out of this. Because it's the kind of thing you're like, I'm really glad people love. I'm so glad people love movies and film and enough to make this movie. You know, it might not be for me or you, but like
Someone liked it.
someone liked it. I think the budget was like
$10.
impressively low, like
Mhm.
150 or 200.
Yeah.
And it has a real narrative authorial voice to it. Like there's lots of good things to say about it.
Story isn't one of them.
Story is not one of them.
Right.
It's
So,
interesting.
all right, I guess either Heaven Can Wait or Trading Places. Do we have a consensus on what we would like?
I'm good with either one. Well, Trading Places is Christmas though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it takes place during Christmas.
Yeah, so that might be the deciding vote.
It's available on streaming.
That's what I'm checking.
Looks like it's on Pluto.
Everything's on Pluto.
Yeah.
Pluto. God, now that I'm no longer a planet, I
Oh,
think
is
I
it on? It looks like it might be on
It's
Amazon.
TV streaming.
Let's see. Yeah, okay, it's $4 on, yeah, but it's Pluto, it's free, Roku channel, it's free, everywhere else it's $4.
So Chris,
It
to
says
answer your
Paramount Plus, it says subscription, so I wonder if it's on Paramount Plus.
Free trial.
Chris, to answer your question about the Vordelak, it's French.
Oh, okay.
And
I
it
mean,
was made as
it looks like it's Hungarian or something.
yeah, and it's a Tolstoy. It's actually a Tolstoy story.
Oh, okay.
It's a Tolstoy novella. which
Yeah,
I did.
it looks very camp.
Yeah.
It's not that
Camp,
old
thank
though.
you. That is the word I was looking for earlier. I couldn't find.
Yeah, it looks like Trading Places is also on Canopy and Hoopla, which are like you can get through your library sometimes.
So let's do Trading Places. We don't have a story form, right?
No.
Okay,
Great.
I'm okay with that.
Love it.
I'm
Trading
good with it. I've
Places
never
it
actually
is.
seen it, so
Oh, Bill,
I've heard it's
it's a
good.
really enjoyable film.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in decades, but
Mortimer.
okay. Well, I guess that's it, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Have
Really
a good
appreciate
month.
it.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Boy.
Bye.